Are you a woman of faith who is struggling to navigate your current season of life? Do you feel like life is just happening to you instead of for you? My name is Jill Pack. I'm a certified life coach and a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I want you to know that no matter your season or circumstance, it is possible to create a more joyful life. And I would love to show you how. Are you ready? Let's go. Happy Tuesday, my friends. Welcome to the Seasons of Joy podcast. This is episode number 16 entitled Unplugging. I'm so excited for this episode. I have had such a great experience this last week, and it got me to thinking about this topic. I have had the opportunity to totally unplug from technology. Now, I want to talk about what unplugging means. Unplugging doesn't just mean unplugging from our phone, but it's about unplugging from all of our devices, powering down in our life. And I would also add, it includes being present and enjoying where you are in the world around you. It's about stepping away from any stressful environment and creating a stress-free zone. I was recently reading an article that I thought was really interesting when I was Googling this idea about unplugging, electronic addiction, things like that. And one of the articles I came across said that 80% of cell phone users claim that they could not go a single day without their device. Interesting, right? And in another article I found, and there were many, but it said that 75% of respondents of this survey said that they were addicted to their cell phone. Now, no matter the study, I think most of us would agree that we all experience some level of addiction or dependency on our electronic devices. That's the time that we live in. There's technology that surrounds us. It's everywhere. And I'm not here to say that technology is wrong or bad. I actually love technology. I think it's amazing. It's awesome. It allows us to do so many things. I love being able to text or call the people in my life. I love seeing what other people are up to, either through email or social media. I love seeing adorable pictures and videos of my grandchildren. I love learning about the world and ways to become more of who I want to be. I love listening to music and audiobooks and watching movies. I love collaborating with others over Zoom. I love reading and sharing uplifting stories and messages on the internet. Now, I'm sure that you could come up with more ways to add to this list in ways that technology is amazing to you, or what you love about technology. So in this episode, again, it's not about how bad technology is, but rather I want to talk about the importance of unplugging from technology from time to time. And that's going to look different for everyone. And so I want to talk about the idea of unplugging to refocus, reconnect, and rejuvenate. So this last week, I was on a river trip for 5 days, and I was able to unplug. It's amazing. Some of my family members and I had this opportunity to go on a guided river trip on the main of the Salmon River. Now, if you've never done a river rafting trip, you may want to consider adding it to your bucket list. We've done some self-guided river trips in the past, but this one was a guided trip, which means there were people or guides that actually take you down the river in rafts. They also have these things called inflatable kayaks, or we call them duckies, and they fit one or two people and they paddle themselves. Or there was even a paddle boat where there were 6 people that actually had their own paddles. Most of them had a guide that sat in the back or kind of in the center that had 2 big oars that controlled the boat and would get us down the river. The company provided and transported all the gear that we were going to use to where the boats were on the river. It's called a put-in. And in this case, we actually were able to jet boat, so a motorboat that went up the river to the put-in. I've never done this before. It was so fun. It was so cool to see this big boat and just the power that it took to go up a moving river and to just cut through the rapids and all. It was so cool. Now the guides would cook the food, they'd set up camp, they'd set up our tents. It was so fun. It was so amazing. In our group, we had 24 people, and I didn't know everybody. Like I said, there were 4 from my family, and then the rest we just didn't know. We never met them before. And then we had 6 guides. So there were 24 guests and 6 guides, and those guides worked so hard so that the guests could unplug and play hard. Each day, we'd float down a section of river that runs down the bottom of this most incredible canyon. The surroundings were just breathtaking, and we would float on the calm water, and we paddle, we ran rapids, we had amazing food, believe it or not, and during the day, in between our rowing, we would pause and we'd stop on a beach, a sandy beach, and we would have lunch. We would hike trails and explore the surroundings. We even found hot springs. Each night, though, we would come to our camp alongside the river's edge, and we would soak in this breathtaking beauty alongside our new friends. Unplugging, living, connecting. When it came time to paddle through a rapid, you had to focus and hang on, whether you were the paddler or not. If you were just riding, you had to hold on because you could get knocked off by a wave and end up in the river. If you were actually paddling, you had to also pay attention and focus on the river and where you were going. And if you weren't focusing on the present moment, you could get hit by a wave, again, that would knock you out of your boat. Or you might hit a rock or a log that could cause some real harm. And even more subtle, you might hit an eddy line or a water boil, and this is where the water is flowing in the opposite direction of the main current, and it can catch you and also flip your boat. So being present and focusing are very important in this journey. Another thing about these trips is that there's no cell coverage the whole time. The only time I pulled out my phone was to take a picture so that I could remember the experience. But pictures, as you know, never do justice to the real thing. Just being in the beauty of nature with the people I love, experiencing it together was so fun. I wasn't worried about anything. I actually slept so good, and I lost track of the time and the day. I just was taking it all in. And this got me to thinking about how important it is to unplug. This month, we've been talking about this idea of the importance of having fun in our life and how to add it to our life. And I want to add the concept of unplugging. Unplugging actually creates space for opportunities to experience more fun, slowing down to embrace life and all that it has to offer. Unplugging not only creates more space for fun and play in our lives, it does more. And I want to share with you 3 more ways that unplugging will help you create a more joyful life. Number 1, refocus. When we pause to regroup and refocus, we can improve our quality of life. When we unplug, we allow ourselves the opportunity to self-reflect and refocus on what truly matters to us, including how we spend our time and our relationships, asking ourselves if we are really creating a deliberate, purposeful life, and regrouping to see if we are living with intention. And doing this, we actually are able to nourish a better quality of life. This week, I was able to focus on my family members I was with, people that I love and who are important to me. I was able to enjoy and share this experience with them, and it gave me time in nature to slow down and reflect on where I'm going and who I am becoming. Number 2, rejuvenate. If we don't unplug occasionally, we can begin to feel stressed weighed down and depleted with nothing left to give. You've heard the old saying that you can't fill from an empty pitcher. If we are always pouring and never refilling, pretty soon we are empty, we're dry. But by allowing ourselves time to pause, to rest, and unplug, we can begin to fill our cup back up, recharging ourselves so that we can bring more good and light into the world. Recharge, rest, and rejuvenate. The last 5 days have been this for me. I was able to fill my cup through rest and play, and I am energized and ready for life. And number 3, reconnect. Unplugging can allow us time to reconnect with ourselves and others and God, focusing on our well-being, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Being present with ourselves and remember who we are and who we want to become. Feeling our emotions and remembering our worth. Being present with the people we are with and remembering who they are and their value and their worth. Communing with our Creator, seeking His light, His grace, and His strength. When you are in the wilderness, you really do see your insignificance and your importance. The world is so big and expansive, and we are just each a little dot on the planet. However, there is purpose to this journey, and the world was created for each one of us. It provides us with individual experiences and opportunities to learn and to grow because we are loved. Sometimes the idea of unplugging can feel hard or impossible. Now, I'm not saying that you need to unplug for 5 days, but perhaps you could for 5 minutes. What unplugging means for me isn't what unplugging means for you. It isn't really about what you do or don't do. There isn't a right or wrong here. I'm inviting you to pause to consider what unplugging looks like for you. It could be as simple as one 1-minute meditation or as drastic as a 5-day river trip. The point is, I want you to consider, how can you incorporate unplugging into your life? How can you refocus, rejuvenate, and reconnect? Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you hear, I would love it if you would share it with your friends and family and leave me a rating and review. If you'd like to learn more about what life coaching is, please schedule a free discovery call with me where we can work together through something that's causing you a problem. Just go to my website, seasons-coaching.com, and you can also find information about my Seasons of Joy one-on-one coaching program and my Seasons of Joy community. Have a joyful week, and I'll see you next time.